everyone. My name is Jeff DeVerter, and I'm the Chief Technology Evangelist for us here at Rackspace Technology. And I'm so glad that you are with me here today. Now, if you're watching this, that probably means that, well, you didn't make the live event that we had just the other day, but we have this recorded version to share with you. Now, this isn't the recorded version from the event. Unfortunately, missed a button apparently, and we didn't get the recording out of the Zoom webinar feature that we'd hoped. So you get this nifty new recording here today. Same content, different day, same level of energy. How does that sound for you? Now, the goal here today is to take you through the AI Bootcamp. And my goal for you at the end of this event is that you are able to speak AI to the people that you get to come in contact with, your customers, your prospects. Now, one of the things that really freaks people out an awful lot as they think about having an AI conversation is they don't necessarily fully feel like they understand AI. Well, take a look at this for just 1 second. You see, when we all get on airplanes to go on vacation, to go on a business trip, well, the reality is that we don't necessarily all know how an airplane works. Maybe it's how jet propulsion works. Maybe it's how gravity works. Maybe it's how the wings are able to create lift by speed and the aerodynamic shape. There are all sorts of reasons that this plane flies. We don't have to know them. We can just enjoy the benefits of going from point A to point B. Now, you may be impressed with this fancy picture that I created for you. In fact, this slide deck really had a bunch of, canned Shutterstock type photos that were in it. But I thought for you guys, for my lovely folks who've come to watch this thing, I thought let's use AI for it. So most of the images that you're going to get to see in this event, well, they are generated by AI. And the cue that I use, or the prompt that I used to create this one, was this. I said, create an image of a passenger jet flying in the sky. After sunrise, dramatic clouds. Isn't that slick? I think it's really important that if you're going to represent AI and you're going to talk to customers about AI, well, that it's important that you use AI. All right, well, as we progress on, I wanted to instill upon you the fact that this really is nothing new when we think about AI. Back in 1943 really is when a lot of this first came into being, where the first thoughts around what would machine learning or artificial intelligence look like. And over the years, over the decades, there have been advances in the thinking, in the science, and in the math. And what has really brought things into the modern era where we're able to use things like a ChatGPT or a DALL-E 3, like I used to create those images, well, is the fact that computing power and the math have gotten to such a point that we're now able to do this at scale. Well, when we talk about doing AI at scale, let's take a look at what I'm talking about for just a second. What are some of the key benefits of AI? Well, enhance creativity with new content. That is one of the ways that AI is creating value for people every single day. Go back to that jet image. I could go search the world over for the perfect jet image, or I could use a few words and generate the image that I want. Other benefits of AI today: reducing errors and improving quality. Now, that is an amazing thing when you sit in front of a business owner or an IT executive and you want to talk about driving business outcomes. How much time is spent solving problems or trying to fix quality issues that exist, or increasing productivity for knowledge workers. Think about how, maybe you haven't seen this yet, but ChatGPT integrates so beautifully into the Edge browser inside of Microsoft. You can have a side panel that can even interrogate the page that you are looking at on the screen and ask questions of that content that might be there, whether that's a PDF, whether that's web page, or whatever it might be. Pretty powerful stuff. You see, when computers come alongside humans, things get a lot more efficient. And then lastly is we're able to, with it, improve business operations, make things run smoother, make things run better. And that really is, these four areas really are some of the main goals of why AI is having such an impact in the world today. Now, let's look at the core building blocks of AI. It starts with data. All AI projects utilize data at the very foundation of what they do. Second, the algorithms. This is the math. This is how the computer has been trained to look at that data and make some decisions. Like maybe you want to identify a fork on a table. And in the way that you teach the algorithm, you can describe a fork, but the way that you teach the algorithm is by looking at thousands or even millions of pictures of forks on a table. Then there's the computing power. Absolutely the computing power. You see, that's part of the reason why we're able to do the things that we're able to do today with AI, because computing power has gotten to the point that it has. Then there's the human expertise. We never are taking humans out of this. There's been a lot of FUD around AI and replacing humans and Terminator and all the other scary movies. But the reality is humans are still smarter than AI, and AI is really here to help serve us and to make us and our businesses better. And then, of course, there are the applications. And these are the ways that we interface with the data. These are the ways that we are able to utilize these tools to the benefit of what we do. All right, so here's Rackspace sitting in front of you, having a nice little chat about AI and how it can be a benefit. And I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to tell you how Rackspace can help you with that. But you're thinking to yourself, hey, Rackspace, aren't you that company that sells servers or maybe colo? Well, yeah, that is part of what we have done in the past. But take a quick look at this. This shows the 20 plus years. Actually, guys, it's about 25 years of history that we have been involved in helping companies make themselves better through the use of IT. Whether that it was helping in hosting, managed hosting, private cloud, our OpenStack involvement, our help with all of the public clouds, AWS, Azure, Google, and then what we call our next generation or next-gen multi-cloud solutions partner. Right, that's where we're taking and either writing new or transforming old applications to run the best that they can in the modern compute infrastructure. We do this all across the world in our Americas region, EMEA's region, or our APJ region. We have over 6,000 rackers. In fact, let's take a look at some of their capabilities for 1 second. And that's not it. There we go. And look at that. Over 2,000 public cloud committed certified rackers, 3,000 private cloud rackers, amazing customers to do this with. Our partners are just outstanding. AWS, Azure, Google, and of course, VMware and Dell. But let's get back for a second here into why AI. In fact, how we are able to bring very meaningful outcomes in the solutions that we're creating with AI to our customers. And I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't start with the technology. Here's where it starts. It starts with the why. If you're a fan of Simon Sinek, well, then you will know that everything starts with the why, or at least it should. And these are the business outcomes. What are we trying to accomplish with this new tool, with this new technology? Is it really just about driving better business agility? Is it about financial agility, customer experience, increased resiliency for our organization? These are the tangible business outcomes that we are working to create an improvement in through the use of this new technology called AI and machine learning. Well, now we take all of that information, and the way and the how that we create these solutions is we are architecting our solutions to evolve. Nothing sits in a vacuum, as you know. Everything is evolving over time. Second, designed to sustain. These things need to be able to last the test of time, as well as run in a way that is the greenest. I mean, think sustainability. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. And then lastly, engineered to operate. Now, all of these things we apply to our customers through the lens of 4 primary technology stacks. And it starts with cloud applications. Second, the cloud data. Remember, everything rides on data, especially when we're talking about AI. And then the cloud platform, think of that as the infrastructure, and of course, security. Now, while security shows on this screen as one single, let me get my face off here, as one single block that looks like it's a standalone piece, it really is wrapped and a part of everything. Now, when we think about how AI has come to be such a popular thing and part of our nomenclature, well, this is why it is. So first of all, there's the distributed cloud, the evolution, there's the word, of technology over the past 10, 12 years of the modern public cloud and the evolution of what's been going on in private cloud has brought us to a point where computing is almost ubiquitous. It's almost as though we have as much as we want. In fact, we can even call it infinite. Even though we all know there's only so many servers and so much storage, there's more than we can actually consume. That's one of the primary drivers of why AI is where it is today. Second, data is everywhere. Back in 43, I think it was on that slide, it showed where we first started thinking about AI. And as that progressed through of course, the 50s, 60s, into the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, there was some data, but there wasn't the data like we have today. And now with the advent of and the savings of all of this data, we're now able to train models better. We get better information. Everything drives from data. And then lastly, back in 2011, 2012, there was a bifurcation in the way that the scientists thought and did the math around the way that AI would work. And this is what brought us into this whole generative world, and it's making such an amazing impact. And here at Rackspace, we are utilizing AI on a day-to-day basis, not just to make pictures for our PowerPoints, but actually we've created this tool called the Intelligent Copilot for the Enterprise, or ICE. And that is a tool that we have gone and ingested all of our product information here at Rackspace into a large language model. And with that, then we're able to just, with simple text search, ask questions about any of the products that we have. This is generally intended to be used by our salespeople here at Rackspace so that they can quickly find the data that they need, the info that they need, to be able to then communicate that to their customers, whether they copy and paste that information, just ingest it on their own, or even ask the tool to write them an email for them. Now you see an example here on enterprise use cases on the right, but really what I want to show you here is the fact that we have curated a list of over 500 use cases for AI. You see, AI, as we mentioned earlier, really does have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, good old FUD associated with it that has people generally concerned. And with that concern becomes, a challenge in how people tend to think about how they might apply AI. Everybody wants to use AI, but they don't necessarily know how to apply it. Well, with these use cases, when we come in and have conversations with our customers, and I'll tell you about that program in just a second, we're able to use these use cases that are divided up by industry to get in and have very specific conversations. Like maybe in the insurance world, we're able to come in and say, hey, we want to simplify state reporting for a company's insurance. Or how about over in healthcare, where we want to do social determinants that drive health? What if we're looking at massive amounts of demographic data and healthcare data and combining that into a way that's going to give us predictive outcomes for patients? These are the types of things where it makes light bulbs go off inside of our customers' brains when we come in and have those initial conversations. Well, all of this really comes back to the fact that Rackspace has created last year, while we have been working in technology for over 20 plus years, almost 25 years, we've been working in the cloud. We've been creating data projects. We've been writing new applications that are cloud native. And we've got over 30, 40 data scientists on staff here at Rackspace. We combine them all together into a group that we call FAIR, and that's the Foundry for AI by Rackspace, or FAIR. And it's our global incubator focused on accelerating business value through responsible AI. And if we look at this on the right, we do this through partnerships, through our technology frameworks, through our capabilities, and our services. And that's what I want to walk you through now and explain a little bit more about how we do what we do. Now, as I mentioned, there's a little bit of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and confusion, and just analysis paralysis that can happen when thinking about how to launch an AI project. Well, we've come up with a 3-step process to help unlock and demystify this whole process. And it starts with Ideate. Ideate is a 2 to 4 week program where we come in, it's our smart people with our customers' smart people. And we do several different things through this process. We're going to have them take a business readiness assessment. We're going to talk about that more in just a second. We're going to dig into those use cases. We're going to listen, do an awful lot of listening to where our customers think that AI could be a benefit. And we're going to, through this 2 to 4 week process, come up with 1 or 2 proof of concepts or MVP ideas, minimally viable product ideas that we could actually build and let them put their hands on and touch and utilize and see if they're getting the value. That's the incubate process. So we come out of the ideate process with the plan. We go into the incubate process with that plan, and we create that plan for a subset of the organization to test. Make sure it does what it does. It doesn't create any risk or security issues, and it does create and establish value. Once we've established that and made any course corrections that we've needed, we're off to industrialize. And that's where we take that MVP and turn it into full-scale production. So some of those accelerators, those things that we're able to do when we come in with an organization, starts with our fair diagnostic and AI readiness. You see, we believe that it's incredibly important for an organization to not just get new shiny new toys, but be able to adopt them and use them. And that's a big part of what the Fair Diagnostic Readiness Tool is all about. It's making sure that this organization has the propensity to be able to absorb and utilize this technology. There's the use case library. We've already talked about that. There's the Fair Artifactory customer deliverable. You see, that is effectively a wiki that we all commonly work together with and on, both us and the customer, so that every asset, every decision, every bit of documentation that's needed to operate this new tool over time is found and left with and found inside of this environment for the customer. Then there are the Fair AI secure landing zones for GCP, for Azure, and for AWS. Now, a landing zone is an environment inside of one of these public clouds that is purpose-built for an AI solution. It runs it the most effectively, most resiliently, and most of all, the most securely as possible. So important. And so instead of having to reinvent the wheel every single time across all of these clouds, we're able to deploy this in just a few minutes with the plans that we have put in place to help make sure that, again, resilient, available, efficient, and secure. And then for those solutions that run on private cloud, that's right, AI solutions can run in private cloud. We have a reference architecture for that as well. Now, I used the term before, responsible AI. Let's take a look at how we define responsible AI, because we believe that no AI solution should be gone into or considered in a haphazard fashion. You see, responsible AI for us here at Rackspace has three core tenets. It is symbiotic, meaning it is intended to exist and operate in conjunction with humans. It's not there to replace them. It's there to make humans better. We believe that it should be secure. These are incredibly powerful tools, and in some cases are operating and have deep knowledge of a company's, well, very private information. Must be secure. And then lastly, sustainable. Now, this has really two definitions. Sustainable, as it is in green, intended to mean we want to make sure that these AI projects are as environmentally sustainable, operate as environmentally sustainable as possible. AI projects can be pretty cumbersome in the carbon department, so we make sure we do as much as we can to limit that. Secondly, we make sure that the organization who consumes them can sustain them over time. AI projects, while there is we have created this three-step process: ideate, incubate, and industrialize. We also make sure that we are deploying them in a way that they can be sustained over time, and that the challenges that exist inside of there, because there are a bunch of them, that we are able to mitigate those challenges. Speaking of mitigating challenges, take a look at this. There is an awful lot inside of an AI project that can go awry. And a big part of dealing with this is starting with the communication. And that goes from, on one side of the spectrum, executive sponsorship, all the way down to AI literacy as well. And that means across the entire organization that's going to be consuming these. You see, these are all the things that can trip an organization up. And we've got a plan inside of each of the programs to be able to deal with all of it. Super important. So that's dealing with all of the things that could create risk and opportunities for failure in an AI project. Another piece of the AI project is the technology. So take a look at this. There are a lot of technical layers that exist inside of an AI project. We're not going to get into every one of them here today, but know that we have a program and a plan for every layer that exists here. We're able to help solve these problems and make sure that there is a comprehensive approach to all of it. Now, I mentioned security before, so let's take a look really quick at how we approach secure. We're able to ensure that the data that's coming into these storage environments and ultimately ingested into models is secure, that the models themselves are secure, that the end use case and work surface for these AI projects are secure. Security has got to be at the forefront of every aspect of it. Again, I showed it as a singular block before, but know that it's baked into everything that we do here at Rackspace. Now, part of also, I mentioned AI literacy. We have a comprehensive program that's part of the whole three-step thing called Fair Learn to help prepare your AI workforce for your AI coworkers. That really is what it is. So whether those are individual training programs like you see listed on the right from LinkedIn Learning or Udemy and Coursera, to a digital badging and certification program we can employ as well. In fact, we've done here at Rackspace over 85% of our 6,000 Rackers are fully certified in this as well. I mentioned briefly that all of these AI projects are built on the power of our partnerships. Take a look at this. We create the solutions. We put the Lego blocks together. These are where the Lego blocks come from our hyperscale cloud providers, from our private cloud providers in Dell and VMware, infrastructure providers like NVIDIA, large language models coming from Hugging Face and OpenAI, and the list goes on and on and on. This has helped us initially we created a series of deliverables internally at Rackspace where we are actively utilizing these tools to help do our daily work. And we can show you how these operate. We can show your customers how these operate and create value as well. Now, I mentioned earlier there's the diagnostic tool to ensure an organization's corporate readiness. This is what that looks like, a little bit of an example of the outcome or the output of that tooling. Now, that tooling really is pretty much just a simple questionnaire starting at a light level with about 12 questions, at a deeper level about 48 questions, and it is ultimately able to reveal a company's, preparedness to adopt some significant tooling like an AI bit of tooling, another way that we look at this graph to talk to our customers. So folks, that's really where it comes down to. And if you want to learn more, you can go over to fair.rackspace.com. You can find a lot of the information I've talked about here. You and your organization can take that Fair diagnostic tool as well from a readiness point of view. We have some great information on the LinkedIn page, and of course, all sorts of information about Rackspace over at rackspace.com. But the main thing to remember here, team, is that it comes back to these core capabilities of ideate, incubate, and industrialize. That is the core of what we're doing here. And the great place to start is that ideate phase. My goal here is to make sure today that you are ready to have in your initial conversations with your customers. And this ideate phase is a perfect one. It's a 2 to 4 week workshop, identifies the ideal use cases for your customer organizations. It's a low cost of entry point and oftentimes can be co-funded by the hyperscale cloud provider of their choice. Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Remember, we go ideate, then incubate, then industrialize. There's a problem here. The problem is that as a customer tends to leave the ideate and get ready to go to industrialize, they realize that there are problems that are going to keep them from being able to adopt AI inside of their organization. And those problems, quite simply put, fall back to either application integration, data modernization, modern infrastructure, or cloud level security. Now, if you remember back at the beginning of our little video here, Rackspace boils our capabilities, our 25-year pedigree of capabilities of what we do into 4 primary buckets. What are those buckets? Well, here we go. Cloud apps, cloud data, cloud platform, or the infrastructure, and cloud security. Folks, as you get out and have conversations with your customers about adopting AI projects, we're not all going to, get the Bahamas trip over an AI project, but the AI project brings about a level of digital transformation that we've been hoping that our customers would do for forever. And it's been the greatest catalyst to transformation that I have seen literally in my career. In my career, I've spent a ton of time representing different products and services in the technology space. And I always feel like I'm knocking on someone's door and I'm asking them, hey, I got to tell them first they got a big problem and that I got a thing that can solve that problem. I got to get them to adopt that thing and then realize the benefit. Now they're knocking on our door. And so these are easy conversations to have. So my challenge for you now is to hopefully you feel a little bit more prepared, is to go out and have these conversations. Now, if you haven't received this already, just shoot me an email. My email address is going to pop up here shortly. I have what I call an AI conversation guide. And it's just a simple 2 pages. It has the information that you need, but it also, this is pretty slick, it also has the prompts that you can use to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information. So you can use it in ChatGPT, you can use it in Bing AI, you can go over to Bard or whatever you want to use and put that information, those prompts into there and get the most current information. In fact, even doing that live while you're on the phone with your customer. Just get crafty about how you're typing and getting your information out. So my challenge for you is to get out and look at your list of customers who might be interested in having a conversation. The answer is all of them. Maybe even be more tactical. Who are you going to talk to this week? Who's on the diary? And think about maybe some use cases or conversation starters. They're in this guide. You should look at it of how you might get them to dig in and start an AI conversation. Now, listen, I'm not asking you also to go and sell AI. I'm asking you to have a business conversation. If they're interested, call Rackspace. Call your partner manager here at Rackspace. Call me. My information is about to come up on the screen. And we'll get on the phone with you once you have established that there's an AI opportunity. Now, remember, I told you that I created a lot of these images utilizing AI. Well, take a look at this. Here, this little image right here, created it for you. Here's the prompt that I used to create it. Please create an image that shows one white female business professional speaking to a male business professional of ethnic origin. Both are smiling and appear to be happy. The setting is a modern, contemporary business office with lots of glass. The woman should be clearly speaking to the man as if she is presenting to him. And isn't AI slick? It's able to do those sorts of things. So let's look at these next steps. By the way, this image is well created with AI, as if there would be any doubt. And so here's those next steps. Review the conversation guide. Use AI in your daily activities, whether that's Grammarly to help you write better, or whether that's using AI to ask questions. Have the Bing Chat Copilot in your window as you're surfing the web. Use AI as much as you can. Review that customer list. Have conversations with your customers. And of course, reach out to us. We're here to help. By the way, how did we get this image? Well, I'll show you. It was the simple prompt of saying, Bing, create an image of a businesswoman looking at the camera, arms crossed, pleasant smile, sun flare over her right shoulder in an office with lots of windows. Folks, that's really about it. It's not as hard as you might think. Your customers are probably more scared to have the conversation than you are. You just start the conversation. Get them interested. Tell them that you're excited to bring Rackspace in, true professional, true experts in this space, and we will dig in together. If there is anything that I can do to help you, well, then I hope that you would reach out to me. Here's my email address, jeff.deverter@rackspace.com. Since you probably have signed up for this webinar, you have my email already. You may even have my phone number in there, but I'll give you all of those things that's in my signature down below. So everyone, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching through this. If you were part of the initial webinar, hey, do it twice through. If you missed the first webinar and this is your catch up, well, good job. You got a shorter version and didn't have to listen to maybe some of those questions that came by. So thank you so much for being a part of this replay of the webinar. And I do hope that you have a great rest of your day. And with that, my good friends, that is all we're going to have for today.